What is up, comic fam? And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year's, all that good stuff. It's Sunday night. That means this is at week's end, the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. But before I get into any of that, check this out. Give a big shout out to Big Time Collectibles, the sponsor of the monthly Legion Loot giveaway for the channel members. If you're in the market for any exclusive variants, high-end ratios, or placing those FOC orders, be sure to check out BigTimeCollectibles.com. You can also follow them on Instagram as well as Facebook. They're constantly dropping some amazing covers. And if you're looking to get anything cleaned or pressed, definitely hit up Justin's Comics over on Instagram. He can get you started for as little as $10 a book. He can submit directly to CGC or CBCS for you. If you use that promo code WeAreLegion, he will give you that buy two, get one free deal he has going on right now. Definitely hit him up. All right, so let's bring in the panel for tonight. You know, I'm surrounded by the merriest men this side of the Mississippi, starting with new guy Ryan here. What is up, brother?
What is up, man?
Nothing much, man. Happy to be here. Glad you made it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too.
Yeah, I miss your face. And as always,
I just cleaned it up for you, so
yeah, that helps with the carpet burning on my thighs. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
And as always, my heterosexual life partner from the Great White North, Chris the Comic Vet. What is happening?
What's going on, boys? Tripod in full effect. What's that?
Does your shirt say balls?
No, it says
Bulls.
Bills.
They actually beat
Same
the
difference.
evil New England Patriots today. I do have a question. Isn't Ryan actually on the other side of the Mississippi compared to you?
Technically,
you're always on.
Why is
this
the
side of
Canadian the one
Mississippi.
for talking about?
Whatever side, dude, it's all a matter of perception.
geography is a human construct.
Right, look, it's on this side of the Mississippi, but you just keep going. Like, I don't know where these.
Yeah, but eventually all comes back around.
I'll give you that this is the correct time zone, but no.
Dude, that flat Earth shit don't fly around here, Chris. It's a globe, Chris. And we got the mad scientist himself from the evil lair, Pocan Joe. What is shaking?
What's going on, guys?
A few pops and clicks later. I'm glad you can all make it. It's been an awesome holiday season. I know everyone's been busy, but this is an awesome way to kind of wrap up the weekend for me. I love talking to you guys, love hanging out with you guys. And there's been some fun stuff to talk about. I don't have much in way of news. I haven't been paying attention to too much comic news or any of that stuff. I've been just busy either working, Christmas stuff, or doing nothing at all. But I do have some books to show off, and I didn't get any for Christmas. If y'all want to show some stuff off, whether it be stuff you read this week, stuff you picked up, stuff you got, I don't care. But if you got something to show off, Chris, I see you nodding.
Yeah, I always got stuff.
We'll see it.
All right, so this is my new comic book day haul. We'll start there. The only book I've actually read this week is this Arthur Adams cover done of the Amazing Spider-Man issue 82. And this was, to me, a little bit of a throwback to like in a single issue story, kind of an 80s kind of flavor to it. Basically, Peter's in a bad spot in this hospital, and one of the caretakers of the well, we'll save that for later.
Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah. Mark's hot pick from last week was A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue number 3.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yep. I picked up the Jenny Frison cover for Catwoman 38 by Rom V, but man, Frison is just at her most Frisonist. You know, that's
a good one.
I picked up Justice League Incarnate number 2, the first appearance of the Batwoman Who Laughs.
Yeah, that was wicked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Etrigan showed out.
Avengers Forever issue number 1. I guess the first appearance of Captain Carter in comic books.
Seen a lot of people picking that up. It's her first cover appearance. She actually doesn't appear in the story or in continuity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a key collector error. I'm sure it'll get fixed
collector
without crediting
error.
people later.
Venom number 3 by Rom V. I'm just going to stop saying that I'm giving up on this because it keeps getting put on my pull list. But
Iron Man. Let me switch up this real quick. There we go.
Yeah. Every month, this is the last time I'm buying this book. I'm just going to stop saying it. It just keeps getting put in my pull list, and maybe one day Kentwell will stop writing it.
Yeah, eventually, right?
House of Slaughter issue 3.
Did you read that one?
Not yet. A book that I'm really excited about reading that I haven't yet is Catwoman Lonely City by Cliff Jang. This is issue number 2. Issue number 1 was terrific. I believe Ryan read issue number 1 as well, and he thought it was good too. I haven't gotten into this one. And my hot pick from
to see that number 2 just came out, so that means I'm not behind.
Nope.
I assume that it was number 2 had
3
already
days old.
dropped.
Yeah, 4 days old. And a book that Mark and I spoke quickly about that was my hot pick was Jock's Batman One Dark Knight. We'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah. You want to see the results of a mystery box?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you got, you want to show off, show it off.
All right.
As
So
long as that's not
It's
mystery
not,
box
it's not a
Monday
big
tomorrow.
week for comics. You know what I mean? Like
Sad.
it wasn't a ton that was released.
I opened a J. Scott Campbell mystery box, and these are the results. This
What's up,
is signed a copy of Gwen Stacy 1B.
Hello, Stephen C. Oh yeah, the pre-scissor variant. That's right.
Right, the pre-scissor. Yeah, I'm feeling like this particular episode is not going to be live, not going to be shown at your LCS.
All right, let me calm down. I'm excited.
Okay.
It's
All
okay.
right.
It's holiday season. They're probably
All
closed
right.
more days than they're open.
All right. This is Wonder Woman 750D, and it's the Virgin variant of Wonder
Yeah,
Woman
it's pretty
750,
cool.
signed by Campbell. Yeah, I really like this. It's actually really nice.
It's a cool signature.
Mhm.
This is Uncanny X-Men, J. Scott Campbell's store exclusive, issue number 1, with Psylocke, Mystique, and Sabretooth for some reason. But yeah.
What was it that Rob said? Something doesn't match here.
Yeah. Why is Sabretooth in there?
Or why is Psylocke? Either way.
Yeah. Anyways, the better of the X-Men covers I got. This is Extraordinary X-Men number 1, featuring Old Man Logan, Magic, and Storm on the cover.
That's a nice cover. I like that one.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like his take on Magic there. A book straight from my PC is The Amazing Spider-Man 800, the store exclusive variant, but the red and blue suit, the classic suit. Actually have the black suit variant of this as well, and I think maybe even the Venom or Miles one. And the last book is signed. It's The Amazing Spider-Man 2 cover B, the black suit holding MJ basically all in black, and he's signed across the top.
Yeah, I
It's
like
over
that a
there.
lot. He has an amazing signature.
Yeah.
Like it really looks good.
But yeah. And I opened a Mutant Beaver box that I got.
Canadians are not real.
Yeah.
They're an assumption.
We're just, there's actually only like 8 of us. We just kind of keep switching around.
We assume there's people that far north, but we're not gonna go up there and check.
Right. Let's see. I opened a mutant beaver mystery box, and the bonus book was actually ASM 55, the second printing. I swear to God, like I can't. I'm giving away a copy of this tomorrow night. I'm probably going to give away 2 copies tomorrow night because I seem to be getting more copies in than I can get out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I gave one to Finn, and when it got tore up, he got upset and he wanted tape on it. So I said, "Hold on," and I went and just grabbed another one and brought it to him. I said, "I fixed it." He was happy.
House of Slaughter #1, the wraparound variant cover. And
House of Slaughter #3 was the reach around issue.
yeah, the
According
reach.
to Bert.
Boom. And this is the Patrick Gleason Virgin variant limited 2500 of issue
The
75.
Virgin Fire. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that cover.
So
That's cool.
the title is actually in the webbing there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't have the barcode or the numbering on the bottom left. I ordered one of
Right.
those off the Pat Gleason website myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Dude,
could have
his
got one in a
website-
Walmart pack.
His website's super dangerous with how great his prices are. Like he'll bundle books together, he'll sign them for super cheap. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
he's pretty cool that way. I also finally got my hands on a copy of Black and Gold from Wonder Woman issue #1. I believe this is a
Nice.
Warren Lau cover.
that is gorgeous.
Yeah, it'll be making an appearance on my top 10 covers for 2021.
No, I don't have to watch it.
Yep. But there's still be 9 other covers, but okay.
Curveball.
Curveball, everyone. And I opened a Millennium Comics or Millennial Comics. Let me just verify. Multiverse Comics, not even close. Multiverse Comics,
Wow.
CGC mystery box. They send out one of these CGCs, one per month. You have a chance at, well, you're going to get a blue label. You have a chance at possibly getting yellow label. I've hit the yellow label before. It was a 2-time signed King in Black by Donnie Cates and Ryan Otley. This month, what I opened was a Future State Catwoman #1, Ron V story with a cover done by Art Germ.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So,
Such a strong story.
but yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the Future State offerings. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool book.
No, Catwoman was a standout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Ron V's been putting out a lot of real nice stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
You
That's
got
all.
anything, Joe? What's your haul for this week looking like?
Oh,
man?
let's see here. I got I ventured out and I tried this book. This is No Holds Bar, and I'm looking at this cover and I'm like, okay, we got something going on there. And then I open it up and I get this art on the inside and a shitty story. So, thank you, Behemoth. What the fuck you? Next we got Fright Night. Hey,
Fright
remember
Night.
the movie Fright Night? Remember
Yep.
the book Fright Night?
I do. Both of
What
them.
do you think would happen 2 years after the events of that movie? The exact
California?
same thing, apparently, because that's what they did. It's some more vampires moved in next door to the nerdy kid. Oh, get out of here. Same thing. I read this Avengers. That's all I gotta say about that. Darkhold, Spider-Man. I haven't really been reading a whole lot of other Darkhold stuff, so I was a little like, what's going on here? But it's pretty easy to pick up on. But this turns out to be a very sad story, and then like a very meaning story at the same time. And it was good. It's like Peter Parker goes evil, and he does some crazy shit to good old Mr. Fantastic there, and it was awesome because screw stretchy people. Batman and Brigby. This is good. I didn't know who this Brigby character is, so whoever told me on my comments, thank you for that.
Hey, no spoilers on that because I'm actually working my way through Fables right now,
Yeah.
and it has not been spoiled for me.
Okay.
The big reveal in that is, so I don't know if it'll get mentioned or whatever in the Batman Bigby, which I plan on reading after I'm caught up on Fables. I
So
have to
those
get back
characters
to
from
it.
Fable basically come into Batman's universe, and they're doing really cool stuff. I recommend this read. It's a good read.
I'm
Next,
the writer of Fables too, right?
I believe I'm not sure who's writing Fable.
Begins with a W.
Willingham.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, same guy. This is interesting, but you know this story. Like if you've ever seen like I think it's 16 Blocks or something. Where Bruce Willis has got to
Bruce
get a
Willis and
guy.
Murray Jeff.
Right, they got to go on foot. Right, same thing with a character with EMP in here, and Batman's got to take him through the ganglands. It's kind of like a Batman versus the Warriors. Remember that movie, The Warriors? Yeah,
Come out.
yeah, that happens in here. So for the most part, you know the story. For Christmas,
It's not the ones from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
Slice and dice.
I forgot about that.
For Christmas, I got my daughter actually bought me some comic books. All my other stuff out of this workshop stuff. I got
I saw you got the new mask, the apron, and the new gloves, right?
and 2 new hammers. I'm going to be dressing those up. Hopefully next weekend, I'll be dressing those and shaping those up. That's the weird thing about blacksmithing hammers. They always come squared, and you have to round them yourself.
Weird.
It's weird.
Well, I guess it's not that weird, but still.
Yeah, my daughter got me Society of Supervillains, the first volume, issues 1 and 2. Is that 2?
Nice.
Oh, issues, yeah. An issue of the Joker I've been missing, so that's finally complete. This was issue 4.
What do you have those in? Are those vacuum seal bags?
So yeah, it's weird, but I like them. So, yeah.
That's a great cover you have in your hand.
Secret
That's one of my
Wars, yeah.
favorite covers of Secret Wars.
Right, I love this. This is probably the cleanest one I've ever seen.
There's actually
Thank God for stretchy people with that issue, because it was Mr. Fantastic who was stretchy around the crowd to talk trash in the Hulk's ear to pull it off.
That's fair.
There's a variant that was or there's a copy of that homage for Deadpool's Secret Wars, and it's the same thing, but they pull away a little bit, and it's Scotty Young that does the artwork. And on top of the mountain, Deadpool's jumping up and down trying to flatten it out.
That's a great one. And I've never heard of DC Superstars presenting Teen Titans, she got me that as well. So that was the comic book stuff that I got. Like I said, everything else was blacksmithing tools and welding, metalworking stuff, and the sew kit.
We know you so.
I got a nephew. I swear he's in the Spectrum or something. He was like, "You make things. I thought you would want a sew kit."
But now you want to find a way to integrate it into something.
Yeah. So I just basically took his Christmas gift and said, "I'm keeping this."
Just think if only like you did something like that involved like some kind of mechanical wrist device that you sewed it to a glove to cover it up.
Yeah, I just use glue.
Yeah, glue it to a glove.
I don't know. You're gonna pick up sewing, and you're gonna realize that was actually the most thoughtful gift you got.
Ryan, you got anything?
No, I'm all out. I could entertain the people, maybe entertain them with a story. My 59, bordering on 60-year-old father this weekend discovered Home Alone. And it was kind of amazing. Apparently, like my kids discovered it a week or two ago, and they're really into it. So we were at my parents' house. They pulled up Disney Plus and turned it on, and they're watching it. My dad comes running in there. He's like, "You should see this little kid. He needs his ass beat." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" and he takes. I go in there. Home Alone's on. They're about to Homeboy's about to smash him with the crowbar because of the spider, and my dad's like. He's apparently taken the It's Always Sunny approach to movies, and he's now on the side of the bad guys. So he's like, they go to slide across the zip line and stuff, and he's like, "Don't y'all do that? Nope, nope." And then they're out on the zip line. He's like, "You idiots! Why would you do that?" So we watched Home Alone with my dad for the first time ever, and it was quite the hoot because
that's awesome.
Apparently, he's never discovered this 20-something-year-old movie at this point.
That's hilarious.
So,
did you tell him there's a second one yet?
You what?
Did you tell him there's a second one yet?
I told him. He hasn't watched it, but I told him. I was like, "You do know there was 2 of these, and they were both quite popular." He was like, "There's another one? They didn't kill this kid?" I was like, "All right, just finish watching the first one."
I need to meet this man. This sounds like an older version of me.
They didn't kill this kid?
There's 3. They recasted the kid. There's actually a third one. Yeah.
They've made more now even.
Oh, okay.
There's actually another one that just came out
this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Home Sweet Home Alone. I think the first 2 are the only good ones.
Mm-hmm. Once you lost Macaulay Culkin, it was all over. So let's see. These are last week. So books for this week. It was a small haul for me. I did read Nightwing. I did read A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. And I might have read something else too, digital, that I just don't remember. But oh well. Batman Catwoman #9 came out. That was a good issue. I picked this up for Nick's Kicks and Comics. So you'll see later what happens with that book. It should be a blast. Justice League Incarnate #2. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And that Jock book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I got some other cool stuff. Picked these up the other day. I picked up another copy of Justice Society of America #1, the Jeff Johns run. That's the first appearance of Cyclone, who her and Adam Smasher right there are going to be in the upcoming Black Adam movie. First appearance of Liberty Bell, and first appearance of old Tomcat. He's just a set of eyes back there, but it's Wildcat's kid. But that's a great run. I also picked this up because I never read it. And I saw where a local shop posted that they had it. I'm like, ooh, let's see who wins. Hulk won. Hulk won. Prime didn't see what was coming. I grabbed another copy of that because it was like $2, where Superman reveals his identity. Ivan Reed's artwork. I got in the Blasting and Stashing books back from Austin LeMay signed. Got 3 of those signed that will be given away in the monthly Legion loot box, which I guess next Sunday I'll be giving the box away for December. And then I got my copy in green.
He's got a great signature.
He does.
You got to ship that off to Joe. Get Joe to tag him too.
The Del Auto.
Yeah, that's nice.
The Del Auto Virgin.
Yeah.
The Barons.
Did you get those Del Autos from Gotham Central?
No, I got them from Heat Seekers, but they're all like they're all touching tips now. Those 5 shops.
Yep.
Are touching tips and calling it the Infinite Order.
Okay.
And that way they can get variants out for cheaper than what they could otherwise.
Yep.
Which are not cheaper than like the standard market of variants. Them just being smaller shops. Those smaller shops don't have to charge a premium. They can now compete with the other bigger shops, which is awesome. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to order from one of those smaller guys for sure. And I talked to this guy who owns Heat Seekers before, and when he did a Department of Truth Jang cover, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this guy my business again. Nothing against the other shops. I was just, no, why not? And then I got that Clayton Crane one from this not smaller shop that I had to reach out and get my order checked on. But it was cool because they threw in this Bianchi cover that I did not order or ask for.
Oh.
Yeah. They put them in these golden age bags and boards. Like they're almost platinum age. They're huge.
It looks like they're framed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that was nothing crazy, nothing nuts, but nothing fun. Oh yeah. Oh, you know.
Don't act like you've never gotten into a sword fight in the men's room.
Just don't cross streams.
You start by
like the
crossing
Ghostbusters.
streams, then just follow it home.
Yeah,
Right, before we get into
not being
comics,
aired on in March.
I know Ryan, you said you watched the first hour of the new Matrix movie. Chris, if you watched it, you said, "Yep." I asked you.
I got through it. I watched a pirated copy.
Well, why you got to share it like that? You ain't got to get all specific.
Yeah, right.
I'm just being honest.
Don't worry.
I got through it in between the two football games yesterday.
So far, you're the luckiest one in this group.
And I know Joe watched it. So, so let's get into that a little bit. What was everyone's takeaway from that? Because I'd love to talk about it. Because I'm not delusional. I don't think it was a great movie, but I had a blast watching it because just getting to return to the Matrix was exciting, and going through it just kind of not knowing what I was expecting, or what was going to happen. And me and my wife just had fun. It was like one of those good nights, you're just hanging out and nothing else going on. It was just kind of perfect. I had a blast watching it.
I mean, I went into this. I haven't seen a single trailer. I've seen the one promo image. I've seen the one promo image that I think you had shared. Where they're all like standing there and stuff. So that's like literally all I knew going into it. And I only saw like an hour of it. Basically, like I got up to the part where they like meet Niobe. I think the other people decide they're willing to help him free Trinity. And then I want to say the last thing I really remember is her riding a motorcycle on a bridge. So
we were kind of checking in with her, seeing where she was at.
Yeah, so I think that was probably about like 45 minutes, an hour in. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't think it leaned into like the same sense of culture a lot of us have. But I don't know. Like I thought it was really cool that it leaned into like modern gamer culture, modern startup and tech culture. I thought it was, at least the hour I saw, I thought it was doing a better job of what Star Wars Episode 7 was trying to do, where it basically like redid the whole first movie, but with new characters in a different way, but telling the same story over again, kind of thing. And I thought it was executing on that better than Star Wars Episode 7 did.
That's exactly what I told Chris last night, that this movie wasn't a remake or a reboot, but it was the same formula, just like how Star Wars 7 was the same formula as A New Hope, but with new story, new characters, with all the callbacks. Like on paper, if you just had to plot the movie in 4 sentences, you know, the first Matrix and this one would practically be the same. Same for those 2 Star Wars films.
Yeah. I did miss what's his face playing Morpheus, but you know,
Lawrence
it was still
Fishburne.
like Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Overall, I enjoyed
like
what I saw so far, but I was still like all in the slow parts before they really should ramp it up. I don't know how it ends, so I don't know how it turns out. But what I saw, I thought it was pretty good. You know, it's kind of a hard thing to go back into because of how revolutionary everything in the Matrix was. Like that first movie wasn't just like a revolutionary like story or something, you know, or concept. Like like the way that it changed movies forever with the special effects and the way they leaned into like digital CGI technology and stuff. It's really hard to do that again. And so I thought it was really cool that they just kind of like rehashed the whole thing, but played into like a more modern culture that would be around that sort of type of movie, you know, and kind of what it inspired and all in all, you know.
So you touched on a lot of things that I had mentioned with Chris. I think it was last night, like where a lot of it was just kind of like I'm not dialed in with gaming culture, but I could get the references, talking about the bots, talking about the skins, talking about the mod, how they start the movie off where they're watching a mod that's running a cycle to evolve the programs that are inside of it and stuff. And I actually didn't catch all that little stuff until I started watching it a second time, because it is a lot of little tech detail and tech talk information that's just not in my normal wheelhouse. I did think it was a little odd how meta it got at times, how they were talking about why are we doing a 4th one? Well, we're contractually bound and they're going to do it without us if we don't, so we might as well, kind of thing. And so I mean, that was a chuckle when it happened, but it was unfortunate that it had to go that route, you know. And someone did point out that this is Lana Wachowski's first outing by herself without her sibling. So that, and you know, and since the original trilogy, Lana Wachowski has come out to say that it was a movie about trans politics, but they couldn't lean too much into that because the world wasn't ready for it. But that's BS, if we're being honest. That's something that after the fact they decided to pretend, or she decided to pretend that's what it's about, when in fact there's been countless interviews, all kinds of things where they're getting into the hard details of it being about corporate America and this and that and breaking the cycle of the machine, and which it is, but it's easy for people to get different things out of different movies. I'll give her that, but they leaned heavily into that with this movie, which there's nothing wrong with it, but
yeah,
there's a lot of, I mean, you kind of sacrifice good storytelling when you try too hard to push an agenda, any agenda, period, for good or bad, you know. And I think there's a little bit of sacrifice in this one.
My takeaway, just to go down a different avenue, guys, was I actually enjoyed, once I realized what was happening, that the Matrix is now aware of how powerful and how important Neo actually is, and tries successfully to keep him down and keep him, you know, happy in the Matrix. But him being happy in the Matrix is causing him to go through this massive depression and massive anxiety, and going through what hit, you know, everything that he normally is not, and, you know, questioning himself, questioning his own life choices and everything. And every time that he started to become more Neo-like, it kind of spun the wheel on him and put him right back to where he was before, with this whole self-doubting and, you know, going to a psychiatrist and talking about it, and the psychiatrist, you know, listening, which I thought was fascinating to watch. It was actually a very good performance, and spinning it kind of back around, like, are you sure this is how you are? Are you sure this is how you feel? Like, and I thought that was really, really cool to witness, until obviously the team that was out to get Neo and pull him back were finally successful. That was, I thought was some of the best parts of the film before everything just started to go upside down with the story. And then, Neo basically became like Ryu and was just fireballing and, just his way through everything. I know it wasn't a fireball, but just
like
a
just a
kick,
little bit of force. He could just
using the force and all. But to me, when he did that to Morpheus for the first time and everything just kept exploding, exploding, I'm like, oh man, he's going all Street Fighter on him now. But the one thing that I really hoped for, that the first Matrix for me was, it was groundbreaking because it was a new type of tech. It was a new type of special effects that we've never seen before. And that's why that first Matrix actually beat Star Wars for best special effects, for the best special effects Oscar that year. I really thought this time around we were going to see something totally different. Sure, they're going to play with bullet time. It's a major part of the franchise, but we're going to get something different. We're going to see something totally different, and that didn't happen. Like there was no like there's nothing that we, other than like Neo using a new type of, like what I thought was just at first like a fireball kind of thing or whatever. It just turned out to be him using a different way of using the Force, if you want to call it that way. But there was nothing brand spanking new to the point where the four of us would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I can't believe we saw that. That's never been done before. Like James Cameron, take note. This is something that everyone's going to be doing for the next 20 years. How like bullet time has been mirrored how many times now, right? Countless times.
Yeah,
I'd give it like 2.5 Maple Leafs out of 5 at best. And that just Neo just basically dumbing his way through the movie. It was just, it's like
he never,
better performance on
really,
a Point Break.
He really never woke. We didn't see him wake up till the end really fully either. Like that was part of it. Like again, like kind of like a reflection of the first film. We don't really see Neo wake up in the first film until the very end when he's hanging up the phone and taking off. Yes, my God, like. That first movie is just something, isn't it? Yeah, but that was the same format with this one. You don't really see him wake up till the very end. But Joe, what was your takeaway? Some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, your overall.
I thought this was an absolute garbage movie, and I thought it was very not well written. I think that's the biggest problem to this movie. I think the script was just a mess. And they were relying on other things to make it popular, and that failed them. At any given point, it was just a rehash of what we've already seen in the movies. I even started calling it to the point that my wife was getting annoyed. Like, I was like, how much you want to make a bet the agent punches through the pillar downstairs? So it was an epic scene. Remember, there's your memory pill. And I was like, that's all the movie was. Hey, remember the French guy that had like the Fable type creatures? Bet you he makes a return. And there's a horrible character that should have never been written in, and it he
was awesome in the other ones. That was a weird angle for them to not really go down and describe.
No.
I loved his character. That was some of the best dialogue we got in the second one. Was Neo? What was his Valengian or something like that?
Something like that. And then even the worst part is it didn't make sense to me when they're bringing the ones. I guess they're both ones now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to describe it anymore. But when they're bringing them together and she wakes up, right? All of a sudden they break out into a battle scene. And I'm like, just pull them out. Just pull the plug, right? Because that's all they needed to do.
Well, Ignacio is correct. Yeah. The
you can't pull people directly out. You
can. You can. They just do the.
Well, we know from every other Matrix that's ever been made, that's how you kill somebody. You have to get to an exit point. You have to have an exit. You cannot just be unplugged.
Yeah, but that's an irrelevant thing now because they're mobile and can be anywhere.
Well, that's why they had to side load bugs in. Remember how they had to like put her in so they could try to get Trinity out?
Think about the mirror. I love the fact that if you get closer, it technically gets bigger. I was like, oh, you, whoever wrote that line, need to be dragged into the street and shot and look at the bullet. Because it will get bigger.
I do remember that particular line because I was just like, how does that make sense?
What are you doing?
Because it's not real. It's kind of
I was like, oh, and the whole explanation. And I'll be honest with you, I was following along with some of their tech talk there in the beginning because I'm all about that kind of stuff, right? And they jacked that up and misexplained things, and I was just like, nope, that's not how that works. And this whole concept of the Matrix having its own little programmable kind of universe within an already programmable, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. In anything, when you're writing binary code or setting up anything, a 3D world or anything, there's no need to do that. You can literally just program it off to the side. And I was like, oh, you don't even understand basic shit that is the premise of your movie. Just stop.
So it's like they went in with half the production crew, like the behind the scenes people that helped to write it and craft it. Instead of them laying down the idea and letting the professionals for all the different areas maybe come in and work on it. This is a COVID movie. And I'll be honest with you, this one actually shows in the style of the style of it. It really does show. Like there's not a lot of huge like surrounding cast, like
slow fight scenes. Did y'all notice how slow the fight scenes were?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'll give credit to the fight scenes where everyone's like, I wasn't a fan of them or they look this or that. They completely match what we've seen in the other ones. The style of them, the way that the gunfighting was completely consistent with the Matrix franchise. But we've seen it. It's nothing new, like Chris said. So it's something
it was revolutionary when we saw it the first time.
We spent 20 years seeing this exact thing. Yeah. But as far as like the number of people in the city and like the background pieces and stuff like that, you can definitely tell with this one that they're trying to keep it a little like spaced out and a little airy. But I think my only real gripe, like again, I give this movie a yellow. Like this is definitely what I would consider a yellow, right there in the middle. Like it's a yellow. It's not red or orange. It's not yellow green, and it's definitely not green. It's yellow. But my main thing was I like it being green when we're in the Matrix, having that green color palette. Mm-hmm. Now understand that the trilogy is a boxed in complete story. Mm-hmm. And inside the second movie, when we're talking to the architect, we learn that the Matrix that we're as the viewers are experiencing is not the first one, is not the second one. They've done it tons of times. They have built it up, ran this whole scenario to the point of the one walking in, making the wrong choice, and the machines killing Zion. And it takes however many years for another city to build up, for people to go look for the one and to get to that again. So this is a completely different program. We're in the Matrix, but it is not the same thing.
Chip is triggered.
I bet you were on my fight scenes because Keanu and Carrie are old. Sheesh, arthritis is real.
They are.
The one thing
haven't seen geriatric people fighting.
Reviews. Yeah, a lot of people were upset by it. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't, again, not blown away. I did like the few of the update things. The program that was Yaya's character, I thought he did fantastic. He was programmed based off the Matrix, his recollection of Morpheus and of Agent Smith. And I thought Yaya did great. I liked how now that we're 60 years in the future, they have the technology for programs to come out into the real world and participate in parts of the real world. I thought that was cool. That was something new in terms of like the lore.
I did like, and I'm sure they resolved this by the end of the movie, but I did like Neo's confusion about things, like, oh, wait, so the machines are on our side now? Like, what does this mean? Because, I have that conversation every so many months with my dad because he's like, I don't understand, like, why these people just want to destroy everything, and it's like, well, the world's a different place. You're just not quite going to understand. So I thought it was cool that they kind of explore, like, somebody is, 60 years in the future, Neo doesn't quite understand that, like, there's a moral gray area that we all live in now, apparently. So some of that stuff was kind of cool. I'm sure they resolve it by the end, though. He's Mr. Progressive. But I know a lot of people probably think it's just like purely cynicism on my part. But going into it, my expectations were kind of tempered, just because, like, one, I was like, yeah, I remember how the Matrix like changed everything we watched and every game we played overnight. And for something to do that today is like damn near impossible. But also, like, in the run up in the promotion run up to the new Matrix movie, HBO was pushing the original trilogy.
Mhm.
And so my son had, my 13-year-old, he had, discovered it on the main page or whatever. So I sat down and watched it with him. And I quickly realized, like, how many times I had to explain why this is a significant moment in this movie and, like, how that compares to the time that it happened, Like, he didn't understand, like, really explaining the impact of, like, Neo being able to almost completely bend over backwards. Like, he just didn't get it. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, no movie we had ever seen, no American movie we had seen before did this kind of action, like all the CGI stuff. He's like, oh, this looks terrible. I'm like, you don't understand. There weren't whole CGI elements in a movie before this, like, so I knew going into this one, I was like, it's going to be really hard for them to recapture that magic because my 13-year-old does not understand the impact of the Matrix.
Right.
And they have to appeal to a broad audience. So how are they going to recapture the revolution that they created? It's almost impossible.
Not letting
Yeah,
senior
it's-
citizens throw punches at each other and thinking that looks cool.
For me,
There's
when
a
I
proof.
think of
Every
the
time y'all talk about that, it makes me think of Mermaid Man and Fish Boy or whatever. From SpongeBob. They're just like, "Arr!"
God. I
yeah,
don't-
for me, when I think of the Matrix, it's always that first scene after he gets shot point blank, and then Morpheus says, like, or when things start to happen, and Trinity says what she says, that you're the one because because I love you and all that, and then he gets back up, and when he gets back up, we actually get his point of view, and all he sees is the Matrix itself, and then he breathes, and the walls move around,
Yeah.
and then they open fire, and he's just like,
No.
and he
Yeah.
stops everything, and then they all stop, and he just
he
picks one
cuts
out,
one.
and I'm like, what? And then we get that hard Rage Against the Machine riff afterwards, and he actually calls and he's speaking to the Matrix, and then he walks out and he does his Superman thing, and it's just like this has changed the game. Never mind Star Wars, never mind Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which came out a year or two earlier, which was fantastic special effects for it. This just catapulted everything ahead of everything. Never mind Skywalker Ranch now and everything. This is the game changer. And then it carried on, with the slow-mo bullet time and how they could dance through bullet time and still do kung fu. But this movie, other than showing that Carrie-Anne Moss actually aged very, very well, I think it's just a little bit of a lunch bag letdown. Other than I thought Neil Patrick Harris and Keanu Reeves back and forth was terrific. Something a la Tarantino. It was, like I said, 2.5 out of 10, 2.5 out of 5 at best, or Code Yellow.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to go with it. No, just set the thing on fire and be done with it. Nobody needs to watch that.
So do you think this sufficiently dropped expectations that 5 and 6 can do something completely different and really impress us, or do you think the whole second trilogy idea is kind of out the door at this
Dude,
point?
I'd be honest with you. Dead honest
Lana
with you.
needs her sibling.
If I would like them to see, I would like them to do more. In all sincerity, I would love to get more Matrix stuff, because why not? What if it's good? If it's bad, don't watch it again. If it's good, hell yeah. But just like the original trilogy, it didn't open up till number 2. Like, the first one was so compact compared to the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was very compact.
Foundation building.
This was nothing but a go get them. We have to go get a person. That's all this was. We have to get a person, wake them up. Now we have to go get the other person. But I think I can't wait for a new Avatar movie. Said no one ever. Dude,
I'm waiting for Titanic too.
I used to be excited for it, but it's been too long.
Yeah, it's way too long.
It's well over 10 years now.
And they just keep developing that concept farther and farther. It was 10 years after the original movie, you're going to get a sequel. It's okay, I'm mildly interested.
But
And now it's
Richard
it's going to be
Donner.
a TV show, and there's going to be all these things, and it's it's been 20 years that we still ain't seen the sequel, dude.
It's
we're
lost to
not
a
waiting out for
generation
a
at
whole
this
show
point,
and
right?
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love
You
the
know,
first
I
one.
have this
really enjoyed
original
that.
concept and idea. Let me run it past you guys. What if there was a movie, right, that wasn't based off of a book, a comic book, a prequel, a reboot? Like it was just something original.
Who does that?
There's no way that would ever happen. Nah. Right.
Well, The Matrix wasn't based off anything originally.
Terminator, Matrix,
Right. That's when they
Okay,
used to make
the-
original movies. Now we just regroup them.
When someone says to me exactly what Joe just did, like it's just something like just an out of nowhere screenwriter just drops this terrific story. For me, it kind of goes back to Seven, that the Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman
Yeah.
David Fincher.
horror type of movie, that suspense movie. For me, it was it's Seven. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and sure you can talk about Dante's Inferno and that, but that to me was one of the most original films, movies, whatever you want to call it, that I can remember of that time period, and it's been few and far between since, where it's just kind of that, like, oh my God, that was just fantastic. Whether you agree with what happens in it or whatever, it's just like, wow. Memento is another one that kind of reminds me of this. Something that's incredibly Inception is another one, incredibly original, out of nowhere. But yeah,
I'm waiting for a remake of E.T. You know it's coming.
yeah.
No,
No.
yeah, I'm surprised it's
Clearly
taking this
never
long.
saw the prequel. 6.
I heard there was a sequel, but yeah, Pulp Fiction is another one. Let's see, Pulp Fiction 2, Scientology orgy.
That's actually quite perfect in the meta world we live in.
Yeah. Memento was pretty original.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
know you
nothing's
don't like
original,
those type
but
of
just like
movies,
the
right?
way that you can like perfectly blend things and find
Mhm.
something that feels new within it. Like nothing's doing that anymore because it's all just like direct reboots. Everything's about putting together a team of writers to write the sequel to some movie that we really liked like 20 years ago.
And they
It's
normally
like,
get people to write it who probably didn't watch it 20 years ago, or they're not in touch with the fan base. That's the problem.
Yeah. Like I feel
except with the Alien franchise, because Covenant was good. I like
oh
that.
man, I've seen Covenant so many times.
Yeah,
That
that was
movie's
really
underrated.
good. Yeah, Prometheus was fantastic. They got Ridley Scott back to do Prometheus. I think Ridley did
Yeah.
Covenant too, but
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did Covenant
yeah, that's
also.
why those are
It was
good.
supposed
Yeah,
to be
that
called
makes sense.
Paradise Falls.
Yeah, the sequel to Prometheus Paradise. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm all up in the Alien universe stuff. I don't read the Marvel books. I gave up on it there, but then I found out Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing it, and I actually talked to him about aliens for a long time when we were on that stream. Like I just sat there and started just hanging out talking about aliens. Like I hadn't read your books, but you like aliens? Me too. I kind of want to go back and read them.
Isn't
Dark
there a Last
Kingdom.
Starfighter 2 like in the works or a reboot or
That's
something?
funny. I looked up at my Blu-rays, and that's the first one I can see that's just sitting there. The Last Starfighter. That's a good movie.
The Last Starfighter. That was a good movie.
I'm pretty sure that's in production, so maybe you might legit get the opportunity.
I need a live-action Gargoyles yesterday. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. They're supposed to be working on a new animated series for it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
No, thank God, because that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
not
love it
my-
when these little
not
kids
my
are trying to
generation.
talk to me about these new upcoming movies and shows, and I'm like, yeah, that's a remake. Yeah, they already did that. Yeah.
This
It
doesn't
just-
make sense to me. That's not going to play to kids today, like in this little computer cartoon world and this and that. If you want to
No.
play to the Gargoyle fans, give us a live-action horror movie, like in
Yeah.
what was that movie with?
That's what I was gonna say, like, because I feel like
Frankenstein.
they think that they're gonna like do these things that like our generation is gonna be nostalgic for. Is gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and watch this with my kids. But the truth is, like, it all misses across the board, right? So like the Kevin Smith stuff he just did,
Trash.
Masters of the Universe or whatever.
Trash.
Like my son watched it, he couldn't get into it. I watched it, I couldn't get into it. What generation did that click with? That was a dumpster fire for both.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now,
say, I
you and
grew
your
up with
son
it. I didn't
can
enjoy
now
it.
bond over that. Let the hate rage. Both of you just talk shit about it. We're great. Make better people for it.
What they did is they made the people on Twitter happy who never watch it, but they can sit there and say we're happy.
Yeah. It's one of those things like I could understand if they're like making it again and a new generation is like finding something in it, but like the old generation's like, no. But I mean, they're missing both generations completely. So like, what is the point?
Taylor's saying there, yeah, give me a live action Robotech. All right.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Assuming they do it right.
Yeah, I Frankenstein was the name of that. It was very much in the same style as that movie
That had
with Paul
Two-Face,
Bettany.
right?
With Paul Bettany, where he was the angel
The
at
priest?
the truck stop. No, but also in that Paul Bettany, where he's the priest fighting the vampires.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the angel? Where's the fallen angel fighting the war with the demons before the other? Was it Legion? No.
Legion, that's it. It was Legion.
Yeah, it is the Legion, but that was like it wasn't like a high production value movie. It wasn't meant to be anything more than it was, but it was fun. You know, that's how I Frankenstein was. It was fun. He gets
How did that name slip past?
And technically, that movie's actually a sequel too because she was having another baby Jesus. So there you go.
No, it's a sequel to the
Yeah,
I like
part 2.
I like biographies
Passion of the
like
Christ,
Abraham
Legion?
The
Lincoln,
newest
Vampire
Testament.
Hunter.
Yeah. There you go.
I like biographies.
I don't think religious movies have got it right since I am the Metatron, the voice of the Almighty.
Oh man, do y'all have any comics y'all want to review tonight?
I've ran through mine pretty quickly.
Yeah, there wasn't much this week. The only one that I'd really want to point out to everyone is this is just amazing. This is so much fun, and Josh Williamson is doing such huge things. The Justice League Incarnate is trying to catch up to and stop Darkseid. And they go to Earth 13, which is just an Earth comprised of magic. I think Justice League Dark was the entire world. And Etrigan, he's got an S on his chest because he's super demon. Like on this world, he's like top dog, which he's awesome for. And he has this really cool scene where he just comes up behind God, what was that guy's name from the 90s? He had like a little tattoo on his face and he didn't wear a shirt. God. But he was trying to be tough in the bar, and Etrigan just walks up behind him and chumps him off. He ends up like pissing himself. It was awesome. It was a good time.
Right.
Fate. Yeah, Fate. Y'all remember Fate from DC?
Yeah.
That Joker right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Etrigan comes up behind him with he says, "My dear Fate, with one Superman you foolishly tempt your luck, but now that there are two of us, you are well and truly," and it rhymes with luck.
Fire truck.
Yeah, he turns around, sees Demon, and
Sitting ducks.
literally runs off.
I'm still mad I didn't get that book. By the time I got to the comic book store, most of the stuff was already gone, and that's why I ended up in mostly garbage this week.
Dude, you should add it to your pool because
I don't do pull lists.
You should make a pull list because it's leading into like a huge event.
I just show up and buy stuff. I think he's happier that way because I'll end up buying more.
Okay. We all read this.
Yeah.
Chris, what are your thoughts on that bad boy? This was your blind hot pick. I do want to point that out before you read it.
My blind hot. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like they've been pumping ads for that for the last 6 months, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And like yourself, Mark, I'm a fan of Jock's art style. And the fact that we're getting a brand new villain, and it basically, right off the bat, the Batman has to go and help the police because EMP gets out of this caravan or going to prison caravan that he's in, and Batman decides he's going to drag him to prison himself. And it's beautifully done.
There's a couple of good panels.
And there's one more that was really good.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Where the EMP goes off, and then it's basically lights out, and then Batman has to drag him across Gotham City to this prison, and everyone and their mom comes out, and it's come out wherever you are, and it goes from there. So I had a lot of high hopes. To me, it's middle of the road. It kind of how I kind of felt after 3 Jokers. Like, yeah, this is good. Is it going to be relevant? Probably not.
Dude, this is proof that like
there's room
not
for it to
all
grow.
artists should write comics. Is my opinion on it.
Unless you're Scotty Young.
Then you probably shouldn't draw comics. Sorry, Joe.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think
I'm a little disappointed to hear that because, like, as Batman'd out as I am, they kind of the marketing I had seen for it kind of pitched it as like a straight up like turn off your brain action brawler for like 3 issues, and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like fun, you know. So to hear that it just wasn't even interesting on that level is kind of disappointing. Sound like an honest trailer for Fast and the Furious movie or something.
It just wasn't great, man. It just wasn't great at all.
I'm still trying to figure out why this whole 4 pages of this lady talking a lot, why this is significant, and why does the person that's in charge of jails decide what prisoner goes where, and like that's not a thing. Right? She doesn't have that much authority. Like, I'm just telling you, right? And then, like, if Arkham could hold the guy, then why all of a sudden? I'm hoping there's some big reveal that shows she's like really a villain or something. I'm hoping. If not, then the entire thing's just stupid and it doesn't make sense.
Next issue of Ice Cream Man is slated for January 26th, by the way.
I did love this cover, though. How sweet is that cover?
Yeah,
that is a nice. That's a. Yeah, I think there was 4 covers. That's one of the nicer ones.
Yeah, I like that. Horrible story, though.
Yeah, Ruben has a good point. Everyone wants to be Frank Miller. Not that easy.
In more ways than
or
one.
Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read The Return of Peter Parker in issue 82. This is 100% a Peter Parker story. There is no Ben Reilly in this particular issue. MJ is the other central character that's in this book. Basically, we see that Peter has finally woken up from his coma, and he finds himself with a roommate in this room. And just after introducing himself, this roommate has an orderly come in and take him away. And a few panels later, after MJ shows up to see how Peter's doing, this original roommate's wife shows up, and the hospital staff is saying, "Oh, we don't have any record of that person." And then Peter's like, what's going on? And MJ says, "It's okay, just get some rest, Tiger." And Peter ends up passing out. What we begin to realize is that this handsome fellow right here is drugging Peter. Like I said at the top of the show, this book really feels like an 80s single issue kind of Spider-Man story. And it happens again. Peter wakes up the next day. MJ's not there, but he's got a new roommate. And then a couple panels later, after meeting this roommate who says she's about to get released, this daunting orderly comes in and takes her away. And she says, "Well, I'm supposed to be released." And he's like, "No, you're going to a special room." Well, Peter ends up passing out again when he begins to question the orderly, like, what's going on? And we find out that this person, this orderly, is drugging Peter. And the next day, the orderly comes for Peter. And we get to see that the orderly begins to tell Peter that, "Hey, I'm actually not what I present to be," and takes him down into the bowels of this hospital where Peter is, and shifts into something that Erica Slaughter should be taking on. And the story kind of goes from there, that we quickly find out that this monster, this orderly that turns into a monster, has been eating these patients that have been in Peter's room, and now it's Peter's turn to be wiped out. And in the nick of time, as the monster is about to bite off Peter's arm, MJ turns on the lights. Only to how MJ knew that Peter was down in the basement, we don't know. However, we quickly then find out that the monster doesn't like light, and MJ is using her cell phone to take pictures and is burning this monster by using light. The monster realizes what to do, knocks the camera away. MJ runs away. The monster follows. She gets to basically to a giant light switch, hits the lights, burns the monster alive. Basically, MJ saves the day. Peter walks out of where he was and says, "Oh, you're my hero." And she says, "What are you doing? Get back to bed." And then Peter ends up passing out. And that's the end of the story for Peter Parker and MJ at this diabolical hospital that he just came out of a coma from dealing with the UFOs and basically getting a radiation attack from them. The story sets up, or there is a page where the story sets up that Colleen and Misty Knight are down in the bowels of Manhattan, and they're going to, in the next issue, take on the Lizard. So we're probably going to still have a few more issues of the Beyond Corporation dealing with the Amazing Spider-Man. There's still a handful of issues away from was it issue 900, where basically I feel Peter's going to return as the Amazing Spider-Man and Ben Reilly's going to be getting his own monthly. But overall, it was just a filler book, nothing special, still better than Nick Spencer. But Ignacio said, "Well, that's bad writing there." Like I said, it felt really 80s like, or even 70s like, just a single story crammed into one book. It's just a filler book at best.
Is my nose really crooked? Like, it looks super crooked to me.
Is mine?
Maybe.
You don't see that?
Maybe.
That issue was so interesting that Joe got sidetracked with his nose.
Mhm.
Like, it's not attached to his face regularly.
Yeah. It does have a real original cover, though, done by Arthur Adams.
Yeah, and that reminds me of Nightwing this week. Nightwing this week, the entire book was, you open it up and you...
Well, this was that single page issue.
Yeah, remember in Future State with the Outsiders when Katana had that 2-page spread and you just watch her clear an entire building?
Yeah.
That's how the whole book was. So it was a fast read.
What if 26 pages were done that way?
Yeah. So it was a fast read. It moved the story nowhere, but it was fun, just an action scene. You just find out that there's a hit out on Nightwing or on Dick Grayson. So the whole thing is them just running.
Was this the first issue back from Fear State?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Kind of reset expectations.
Yeah.
I see Fresh News is saying, "I can't believe Spider-Man has been so bad since Dan Slott left. The Spencer one was boring. You're being too kind by saying it was boring. This Beyond stuff is boring. I don't even know if Hickman could save it."
In all honesty, I'd be worried about Hickman coming on because I think he would immediately bring every Spider, anything that's ever happened back. He tries to do too much at once. Like,
it would be Spider Island all over again.
Yeah, he's made X-Men unreadable in the sense that if you're not like diehard hardline, like if you're not mainlining X-Men, it's too much to keep up with. He's created it. Marvel should have a whole different universe with a whole different branding called something else that is just the X-Men's universe because it's just so much content. It's just
Well,
they need
the
a Crisis on Infinite Earths to tighten it back up. I'm not saying it's bad writing. It's just too much.
Well, the real problem I would see with him coming on would be that everybody's complaining about how boring it's been. Hickman does good stuff, but it's one of those things where like comes together at the end. So you're going to spend the whole first year or two of his run of him just setting up all the pieces. If people think it's boring now, just wait till that happens.
Yeah, right.
So one of the better ones for me this week was Batman Catwoman issue 9. So this was the final issue. We have Liam Sharp on the arts because it's been a Clay Mann book, but for issues 7, 8, and 9, Liam Sharp came in to do the interior work, which he's a fantastic artist as well. Clay Mann is real tight and neat, very. You can put him in a category like Jim Lee, like the style of art, or Fabok and stuff like that, or Gary Franks.
Very clean lines.
Yeah, but Liam Sharp is like you're going to be getting oil paintings or watercolors. You don't know what you're going to get. Like he can use pens, whatever. He's really good.
He's a mixed media artist.
Yeah, and that works well for this story that's playing 3 timelines at one time. You get like the current timeline, which is like old Catwoman, Batman's dead, Joker's dead. Batman and Catwoman's daughter, Helena, is currently Batman. Dick Grayson is a commissioner, and they're trying to arrest Catwoman for killing the Joker. And the whole flashbacks and the whole point of this issue was talking about compromise. like the way that you compromise for someone that you love, not necessarily even romantically, the way that Alfred compromises for Bruce, for that father-son love that he has, the way that Catwoman compromises in order to get what she wants, and she'll work with people like Joker. And so this has kind of been like a very detailed study of why that wedding never happened with Bruce and Selena. And they're doing it very beautifully, but it's very complex. Like, it is a lot. Like, the plot is not the story. It's, again, like, compromise. This one issue is talking about compromise, and how that is a problem or a good thing. You know, in a relationship, it's supposed to be a positive attribute, you know, that helps y'all stay strong and you work together. But in someone's situation like Batman and Catwoman, compromise means somebody sacrificing who they really are. And in this case, it was both of them, you know, and it was a good issue.
This I haven't read this issue, but I mean, that's the one thing about this series is, like, I feel like it's kind of stretched itself thin. Like, maybe this should have been 9 issues, because I feel like, you know, a majority of these issues have dealt in, like, how Bruce was compromising himself in order to be what she needed, you know, and it seems like they just, like, keep on drilling that same point. So unless it starts to make a larger point about how he kept doing that, it really just feels like they're drilling the same point over and over again. And maybe 8 or 9 issues would have been better than a full 12.
Well, knowing the way that King does these kind of things, because, like, again, like, he's kind of switched his style up with Human Target, completely different, Supergirl, completely different, but you know, Strange Adventures, this Batcat series, Rorschach, those 3 were kind of in the same writing style. When you get to the end, like, we're in the final 3 now, so you're going to stop getting so much character building or deconstructing, and it's going to start hitting the plot running now, you know, because it showed us a lot of stuff here and there, but it's probably about to mainline on that modern day plot and just take off for the actual finale with, like, a little nuanced ending. That's kind of how these go.
Yeah. I just hope it wraps up well. It's been good so far, but I'm afraid it's just, like, kind of overstaying its welcome. So hopefully he can, like, really make a point of everything that he's touched on and pull it all together well.
Come together like butt cheeks.
Right?
Make a clap. What else y'all got?
I can talk about Avengers real quick. This started off really cool, right? So apparently, in this particular run, we don't know who Thor's mother actually is. It may not be Gaia. It may actually be the Phoenix Force, right?
Frida?
Yeah, they're going that route with it because the whole 1 million
Phoenix Force hasn't touched on enough things.
BC Avengers thing, right? So anyway, so check this out. So Tony Stark and Thor kind of having this kind of sort of one-sided conversation, and it kind of deals with, you know, fate versus destiny. You know, does it really matter your lineage? Does it really matter? Does it ultimately determine what you are, or were you just destined to do that because you are a god? You're not like a regular person. So do the same laws apply to you? And they were kind of discussing that, and then all of a sudden we get little girl Phoenix, the new Phoenix. She shows up. Nobody wants to talk to her. Nobody likes her, but she's needy, apparently.
Needy Phoenix.
Right. She's just like, no, you will see me, you know, whatever. Right. And then the story goes
whatever needy sounds like.
with negative versions of superheroes as bad guys now, right? So we have the evil Dark Phoenix one, and she's got like a crazy Wolverine, and they all start battling, right? Right there, and it's really bad action scenes in it. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like the new younger Phoenix girl is like, no, I'm super powered space person, right? And blast everybody. Right. That's how the story ended. It just blah, right? And everybody just, I guess, disappeared. But anyway, through the portal, because you can't get rid of the Phoenix, right? It's a force, right? Come through the portal. Guess what happens? Big spin, right? M. Night Shyamalan type shit. Guess what comes through the portal? An evil Thor.
Oh,
Starship Hulk.
Thor comes and he's ready to cause damage. You don't even know. And I'm just like, you started good. Good. So yeah, that's my review. For more reviews, catch me on. No, I'm just
as long as there's needy people in the story, I'm there.
Yeah. Evil.
Oh, so like that? Shit, I thought there was two of you.
God forbid there be an original character. You know, like Kindred that just turned out to be somebody else.
Oh, two of them.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Yeah, Fresh News says he hates saying it, but he hopes Aaron's leaves Avengers soon. But in saying that, I don't think anyone else can step up to at this point take over. So it's 50-50.
Aaron's was teamed up with somebody on this. This was two people actually came together with this concept. That shows you how bad they really are.
So
This
two
was,
people came up
Jason
with half an
Aaron
idea?
and one.
That's bad math.
Sometimes that's what it takes, Ryan. Do y'all remember when Dumb and Dumber was first coming out? Like, I still remember the movie trailer for it because it was at the front end of the Ace Ventura VHS.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole thing at the end of it, you know, back in the 90s, you had Mr. Movie Voice narrating all the trailers. He's like, if they each had half a brain, they'd still only have half a brain. Like, that was the thing for it. That comes to mind.
Yeah. So that was my take on that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I touched on it before we went live, but Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow was phenomenal. It was she hops on Comet and outruns this weapon that was thrown at her that is like one of the fastest things in the universe, and she pushes this horse to its limits, and they travel beyond like time and space. Like, they go so fast and so far, but in the process of doing it, it's a whole callback issue to how much loss she's really experienced from Krypton exploding, her time on Argos, her family, watching the people there get poisoned and barely survive just to get killed by a common meteor shower that exposes them to radiation again. It's just, it was wicked, and it ends with like the face-to-face we've been waiting on. And again, this is a Tom King story written nothing like his previous stuff for the past 2 years, which big kudos to him to be able to really just shift the entire dynamic of how he tells a story. So, man, if I'm not saying everyone can pick up these individuals, but give this book a shot. Like, if you like a good revenge story, it feels like a gritty Western.
I haven't read that issue, but like that is like legit one of the most excited to read books coming out right now for me. Like, and it's because every issue just has like so much heart to it. They just like, I don't know, the way he's writing it, it just like really digs into her as a character on like such a huge scale, and it's phenomenal. Like, I've been reserved in suggesting it because I know how people feel about Tom King stuff, but you really are missing out if you're not reading that series because it's something else.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea to wait to read it. I mean, it's a maxi
At this point,
series.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a maxi series, and it's getting toward the end here. It's got 2 more issues. It's only going to 8. So, man, hopefully they put it all out in just one collection and don't split that into 2 separate collections. But it's worth the read. It definitely is. And if you're not a normal fan of his storytelling, try it out because it's not his normal storytelling style.
It's very different.
Yeah,
It uses narration in a really good way.
I was on there for about 3 issues or something. I think I just ended up getting annoyed with because the first 3 issues, there was a lot of narrative.
Oh,
I remember that. Yeah, and that just annoyed me.
There's a lot of dialogue in it, which, again, this, like Ryan pointed out, this is one of those, every issue you come away with, like, I'm not saying like you're crying or this or that, but you come away with an emotional experience. It isn't just not surface level comic telling at all. But
and I actually really like the narration because the narration always feels like it's written like prose. Like, it's really beautiful prose.
Yeah,
I'm
just more of a dialogue guy. I would rather see the dialogue tell the story than, somebody's mental capacity and an omnipresent, faceless.
It works. It's all a flashback.
Because you learn it's all a flashback. So it makes sense that she's omnipotent, and like I like it too because big fan of True Grit, like one of my dad's all-time favorites. So I was raised on all that, and so
now
it's a really strong call back to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was how the girl in that movie is too. Like, she's way too smart for her age, and kind of talks over people. But this book does it all so well.
Good stuff.
Highly recommend.
Who else has what?
What else you got?
I'll trash another book. No,
That's it
let's
for
talk
me
about
this
something
week for reading.
good. That this Darkhold. I haven't been following much of the Darkhold stuff, but apparently in the Darkhold storyline, everybody's turning into zombies for some reason, and Peter Parker here has got to do the Spider-Man thing where he's like literally shooting webs to keep buildings together, and people's like arms are falling off, and he's like webbing their arms back on. But there's a little problem, right? This stuff fades and it rots away, right? And then every day he's having to do the same thing over and over again. So Mr. Fantastic, being the super nice guy he is, he's like, "Hey, Slim, guess what we can do? We can make your tensile strength a lot, stronger. But what we're going to need is, plasticky people that stretch like I do, and we're going to need some of their DNA, and then I can form with your web juice. Right? We can make
a web juice
that will last longer, right? Super.
That's
big
what I call it
breakdown.
too.
Yeah,
Well,
web
The
juice.
problem is he's got to hurry up, and in this particular universe, he's dating Gwen. And he's got to get to Gwen because it's their anniversary, big deal, trying to not be late as always. But, things happen, and he ends up late. Come to find out, she was falling apart, like literally, right? And to
I
get
hate
there
when
in
that
time,
happens.
right? Right? It kind of reminded me of that crazy redheaded girl I dated in high school. She just fell apart. But
Yeah, it happens, but I hate when that happens.
so, of course, Spider-Man gets all mad about this, and he's like, "Hey, Doc, why go get all
Why
these
you-
other stretchy people? Aren't you stretchy?" And then at the end, yeah, he did it. He like synchronized them into the webbing and everything, and he's got an evil look on his face. And that was pretty cool. It totally took me for a twist on it. I really like it. Definitely a heartfelt story, with people dying around him and everything. But I enjoyed it.
Well, I know we didn't do comic books last week because it was a full No Way Home spoiler show. But New Burn issue number 2, Chip Zdarsky's Image title,
Ooh.
where he's the fixer for the mob, the retired detective that's the go-to guy for the 5 crime family, so they don't have to go to war anytime that there's some kind of scuttle. Issue 2 of that came out. That was really cool. Like it was actually like a solve a crime kind of issue, just like the first one was, but
Cold open.
it kind of puts the narrative of them two actually working together, where he kind of recruited this girl in the first one. We find out that this ain't the first time he's recruited someone, and they don't typically last long. And they were investigating a fire in a complex that looked like it was intentional, and the wheres and the whys of it. But it was pretty cool because I don't know if anyone read this, but in the first one, there's like kind of a thick ending to it where it says next month a New Burn, and they show you this backstory for like 5-6 pages, and the artwork is different and everything's very who is it, Sammy, who does Firepower?
Yeah.
Sammy, yep. Chris
Yeah, it was
Samney.
very that kind of style, over like intentionally heavily cartoony and stuff. And so that is not where this one picked up. This one picked up on its own thing with its regular art, but then at the end it says next week in New Burn, and it gives you the continuation from that. So what it did is it introduced us to our antagonist in the back, and it's running it like it's 2 separate things. And obviously these things are going to come to a head. It's a bunch of people who are not interacting with each other, but a light bulb came on like that.
Sounds like a Guy Ritchie
Oh
movie.
wow.
Like various things going on.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm really in now.
Yeah, it's super cool. They're playing with the medium. You know what I mean? Like, how can we do something revolutionary that hasn't been done before, and get people talking about it?
Zdarsky
that's
being
cool.
Zdarsky.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Also, I think this came out last week, right? Starship Hulk number 2.
Yeah,
This is
Starship
dumb.
Hulk number 2.
This is dumb, and it hurts my
I'm
heart.
still
hearing
holding
people
up faith.
give it
I'm
rave
still
reviews.
holding on. I think it's going to do a turnaround.
Oh, I hope it does. Like, nothing but high hopes. Again, like, I'm going to continue picking up Hulk comics. It's
Yeah,
what
didn't
I
you see
do.
like
Oh,
the
I said
25
that for
book
about
covers
4
he
or 5
bought?
years.
What is
4 or
it?
5 years of Nick Spencer says it ain't going to get better, man.
I'm still out of Starship Hulk and Pocket Strange. I'm still going with Starship Hulk. But this was all right. This is all right. It's not bad. It's just not good. That's my thing.
It's silly.
It's very silly. It's edgy for
silly.
the sake of being edgy. There's violence that's unnecessary. Like, it starts off with him flying through space because he's a literal spaceship literal spaceship. I'm not saying that like a 14-year-old on Snapchat, like I'm using the actual word. I'm literally using the word literally correctly. He's literally a spaceship. So it starts off with him flying through space, through all kinds of different places, dimensions, and times. And there's this set of team, this analog, like this must be their Superman kind of thing. And there's 5 or 6 of them. They're like, who's this guy coming? You stop there. And he just flies through them and they get knocked into pieces because we need violence, because the guy who did Invincible is drawing it. So we have to have violence, which I'm all for it, but have a point to it. Like I get it. You're showing that he's just blindly flying through space. Cool. But we're not, I'm just ready for the story to start unfolding. The artwork is perfectly fine. It's really good at times.
The end of that one, that's where Bruce Banner basically captures himself.
Yeah. So he's flying through space and then a gravitational field comes up or a portal opens and energy tentacles come out and grab him. And that's where the inconsistency in the writings take place. We know from Bruce Banner, who's like the subconscious controlling and piloting the spaceship Hulk here. In the first issue, he took the power lever and rammed it to full blast for Starship Hulk to beat the Iron Man Hulkbuster bots. In this one, he pushed it just 1 notch from 0 to 1, and they're like, "Whoa, Hoss, you're going too hard." And he pushed it to 2, and they're like, "It's too much energy. The body can't take it." Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But it's cool because every time subconscious Bruce pushes up that energy level, in your energy level, you have the Raging Hulk personality basically imprisoned in a subconscious, getting attacked by subconscious Bruce. I know this is getting weird, but this is taped for you. But you literally see they play with the medium here a little bit. Giant-sized Wolverine, literally a giant Wolverine pop up out of nowhere to piss off the Hulk, to get him mad so that Starship Hulk body becomes stronger. Yeah. But it was dumb. So when he gets pulled into that portal, he comes to in the portal, and out of the shadows comes another mad scientist, Bruce Banner. From what universe, we don't know. Somebody told me they're speculating it might be the Ultimates universe Bruce Banner, which if that's the case, I'm in. Because that Hulk was awesome. He just eats people and finds as many women as he can to concubine, and he rips Wolverine in half and throws his legs 10 miles up a mountain. And
that dude is a gangster.
Yeah, he was tough. Like, he was really cool. Throws on like a Hawaiian shirt and puts like lays on and just dominates.
I have to say, like,
what is up, Steve?
I don't know. I like Donny Cates like as a personality. Like he was in Scott Snyder's his class. He came on as a guest one week, and it's like I wrote down everything the dude said because like it's all great stuff. Like as far as like his personality and his thoughts about the industry and like life in general. Like I have one of his quotes on my computer at work because he said, it's all just nothing is hard. It's all just work, and it's simply that. Like nothing in your life is really that hard. As far as like things you want to do, you just have to work at them so that you get good enough to be good at them. Like the dude has it figured out on a certain level, but like every time I read his writing or I hear about one of his stories, I'm like, I do not like the way he writes. I do not like the way he tells stories. Like it all just sounds ridiculous and contrived, but as a personality, he's pretty solid.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, what has he done that's been spectacular since Black Winter from Thor?
Now, to qualify that here before you get attacked by anybody on the Rewinder in the chat, he didn't ask what did he do that sold well. There's a huge difference between creating a hype train to something.
We all know Venom, yes, but I said what's he done that's been spectacular? Everyone that in the last 3 or 4 years can say that Thor first arc, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, whatever it was actually really good writing. Now everyone was a little disappointed that Black Winter died, but we all know whatever. But that was good writing. What's he done that's been spectacular since?
I liked God Country. That's about the only 2 things I really think
that was. I give, and since I heard the hype, everyone told me I was going to cry. I give God Country, Chris. If you'll hit the yellow green,
sure.
Right there. Yeah. I give God Country like between yellow, green. It was okay.
I love this arbitrary color chart you got.
That's a scale of 1 to 10, Joe. That's the scale of 1 to 10.
It's color coded, numerical, and alphabetical.
Yeah, we got that scale. We have the maple leaves and the Longhorn scale.
Yeah.
All scales of 1 to 10, of course, because that's how people like to judge and rate things.
But yeah, like a lot of his stuff, it's just like I don't get this. Like
Again.
he typically over delivers on the first bit of the story, and then just like completely flounders the entire rest of it.
See, and I was about to say, so many people are in love with like fresh news. Did you read Immortal Hulk? Just out of curiosity, but I know people are jumping on this. And I was going to say, I can see why people who are just getting into Hulk or just following Donnie over there might enjoy this so far because it might be something they're used to reading. But this isn't good Hulk. Like Donnie hasn't started telling the story yet. So again, I'm holding back, hoping he hasn't started a story yet.
Yeah,
like he laid out a concept in the first issue that we haven't done anything with yet. So I'm excited to do something with it. And I know that him and Otley are just trying to hit a hype fanfare, which they said they were going to try to do before it came out. So they're doing exactly what they said, where Otley and him promised more smashing and carnage than you've seen in Hulk in a while, which they haven't actually accomplished yet because they've also proven that neither one of them, the creators of this book, read Immortal Hulk either. That was the most carnage the Hulk has ever been through. And some of those.
So literally hell and back.
Yeah.
It's actually the villains from that series are actually the ones behind Peter Parker being in a coma.
And crossover 1 through 6 as an arc was definitely not that great.
But your scale back up.
Chip Zdarsky's one-shot issue was really fun, and since then it's actually been good. 7, 8, and 9 were actually really good.
Good, because Savage Dragon shows up.
Yeah, but now that we're completely past the idea of waiting on these iconic characters to be big key players, and we're actually just experiencing the story with Ellie and Orion, it's actually gotten good now that they're focusing only on the creator killer aspect. And Donnie even threw himself in the book, and he addresses his own tropes, the tropes that these tropes are kind of tiring at times, switch it up, man. Donnie's working towards a rebirth of the Ultimate Universe, and that's all I want. See, that's what I was talking about with that other Bruce. Hopefully this is Bruce from the Ultimate Universe. I would be all in for them to bring back the Ultimate Universe. That would be fantastic. Ultimate Hulk was awesome. Getting just the Ultimates in general, that was a fun universe. It was very, very edgy, but it was done well. Peter's still dead over there. Sorry, Chris.
Wasn't my Peter.
Not my Peter.
Joe's doing this while he says that.
Hashtag you were not the father.
6.
Yeah, there was some.
The best thing that happened to the Ultimate Universe is still around today.
It tuckered out really poorly though. It got excessively violent. They started killing people off left and right, and it got really weird at the tail end. But they knew they were finishing it off.
Writing was on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was Ultimate Bruce as well. And actually, did you see in Match they have Hulk versus Thor by Don? Yes, I did see that. I actually, I think I shared it in groups. I have my fingers crossed. God, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Is Peter back in the Ultimate Universe? Is anyone alive in the Ultimate Universe?
Is the Ultimate Universe alive in the Ultimate Universe?
Yeah, is the Ultimate Universe alive?
I'm not sure.
I thought Peter died in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, he died at the hands of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, he got blown up in his own house, didn't he?
Yeah, and he died in the hands of May and MJ, was it? Yeah, the death of Spider-Man. Yeah. And then
thank goodness.
The fallout from that eventually became
Miles.
Hey,
and speaking of Miles, Kyle's here if we're going to talk Miles. He doesn't read Marvel, but he's a huge Miles Morales Spider-Man comic book fan. He can tell you all about it. He doesn't read Marvel.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
I think that was the last live stream I was on with him.
Yeah, he was on there.
He's like, I don't read Marvel. Okay, well, what book do you have to talk about? Well, I read Miles.
Cat was out of the bag. Yeah, Fresh, if if you're familiar with how they brought Peter back, let us know, because that's as far as we. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he came back in issue 150, I think. But the last we saw of the Ultimate Universe at the end of Spider-Man 2, he's leading a new Ultimates team. I thought the last we saw was that event they did where they started like killing off everybody, because they did a lot of events.
Look at that, yeah.
Ultimatum and the Galactus one. I remember I was so excited for a Silver Surfer and Marvel to show up, and they were okay. And I was so excited for Galactus to show up, and he was like all the multiple different little mechanical things. I'm like, oh, you tricked me.
Yeah. Cheated me.
Yeah. But I still love the Ultimate Universe, man. It's fun. The X-Men stuff was ridiculously good. Like when Mr. Sinister they did.
Wolverine as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The FF stuff was good too. But yeah.
Dude, it all was good for the longest time. You know, anything that runs too long has its ups and downs.
I always get the feeling that Ryan's like standing up against the wall, looking around the corner like a spy.
He is. If he sees 5-0, he has to hit the hootie so everyone can run back inside.
Like his wife's looking for him. She's like, "No internet for you," and he's like looking around the wall.
It's kind of weird, like
Guys, I gotta go.
when you don't own a dog and a dog just like walks up and starts barking at you like you're on his yard or something.
Wrong house.
Right. Also, yes, I'm very naturally suspicious, paranoid. So
Thanks.
I look out my own windows like I'm in the hood.
Well, guys,
Police.
we hit that hour and a half mark, and I don't really have much else. We can drag this out, or we can go to bed.
I thought we could talk about the return of Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, it was a man. Y'all go ahead.
So I know Mark's going to pan it, but Joe, go ahead. I can see you're chomping at the bit. It's all you.
I love that. I love that actor. He is such. I'm so happy that they kept him being.
It's the one thing I think we all can agree on. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Also, my favorite
fantastic
scene,
Kingpin. Yeah.
Hawkeye and all them making their own arrows. Oh, it was awesome. My wife's sitting there and she was like, "Didn't you do something like that on YouTube?" My daughter's texting me. She was like, "It's like watching you." But yeah, I thought that was great. Finally admitting to the team, the whole family aspect of it. Mom's a bitch and she's going to jail. It's awesome. So yeah, I want some more of that. Bring me another season.
But I liked them building up Echo and potentially having Kingpin blinded by Echo, which was done in the comic books. Yeah.
Straight
Kingpin gets blinded by Echo by a point blank gunshot.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens in this one. There's no way they're going to kill off D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio's gone on record by saying that he really enjoys playing the Kingpin. So again,
that paycheck.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I like that.
Still,
That was
yeah.
I thought it was really good. And finally the swordman did something instead of just standing around looking lost.
Yeah.
He was all chopping bodies up. It was awesome.
I thought it was really good. I thought the battle, or I shouldn't say the battle, but the fight at the Christmas tree was a little campy. Endless arrows, endless villains, endless.
Why are you trying to touch on all my points, Chris?
Because that's the one thing that you and I did agree on. Like, I thought it was good until it got campy.
Until it wasn't.
Right. And like, not to steal Mark's thunder, but 4 arrows take out 40 guys.
Me and my wife were watching it, and the third time that they showed like a high camera angle shot of 5,000 people running toward the ice, I started counting Kate's arrows. And as soon as we got a good shot of her quiver, which we got numerous ones, there was 3 arrows in it, and I pointed it out to my wife. I said, 3 arrows, here we go. And then she started taking out an army. I'm like, you lost me.
Yeah.
The fact that there were so many people, like there's not even that many tracksuit stores to clothe all those people. Like
that's saying something in New York.
Amazon couldn't fill that order.
It was. I thought it was, again, I haven't been a big fan of this series. I know a lot of people have really, really enjoyed it, and God bless them for it. I just don't like the Kate Bishop's character. I don't think she's all that likable to me. I liked Yelena. I thought it was a little bit of a stepbrothers scene. Did we just become best friends? Yep. Like, I saw that before, and I saw it done by more comedic gentlemen. Again, it's just Hawkeye to me is not that much of a likable character. I get that he's a part of the Avengers. I get that he's a leader of the West Coast Avengers. Again, D'Onofrio to me saved this series. If it wasn't for the Kingpin reveal, we all knew the mom was the bad guy.
I was super impressed with Kingpin in the Netflix stuff. I thought they played him stupid in this. Like they even dressed him stupid. And
but they dressed him for that particular cover.
They dressed him for vacation.
Yeah.
This isn't Spider-Man. This is Hawkeye. So, like, this is what I looked like at the end of the show.
What are you talking about, man? That's how I was dressed in Chicago. What's wrong with that look? Shit's terrible, son.
We should have done a who wore it better.
What's up, the cover collector? Yeah, I think they were just trying to go with more of a, what the comic book cover looks like there when they were doing that. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I know that we're looking at the Kingpin original artwork. We're looking at D'Onofrio's Kingpin. But that's a Mark shirt every day of the week right there.
Every day of the week. But
every day of the week.
It's close. It's close. But what's it missing, Chris?
It's missing like a Legion of Comics.
It's missing some flamingos, my man.
It's missing the flamingos. Let me put those on the jacket.
Flamingo life or bust, bro. Everyone is saying how different Kingpin is, but in the MCU, it's been 7 years since we saw the Netflix Marvel characters. I can't remember when Daredevil season 3 takes place, but add 5 to it because of the snap. So that's definitely a valid point. How he would have changed or been whatever via the snap. Like if I can tell you now, if half the population got snapped away, including who knows how many of the people that I know, love, and care about, I would only wear Hawaiian shirts as well because I kind of do it a lot of times anyways.
Either that or leather.
Yeah. Flamingo Hawaiian shirts with assless chaps. That's it.
You did a good job, Vinny. Don't listen to them. You did a good job.
I don't think he did a bad job. I don't think he did a bad job at all. I don't know why I wasn't taken aback or blown away by that. The series itself just was meh for me. It wasn't bad. I think episode 3 was a total blast, but I don't know why. I think I enjoy the stuff that's taken more serious, more dark, kind of the Netflix tone and style I prefer over the Disney Plus fluff pieces.
Yeah.
And that's just my preference. That has nothing to do with if it was good or bad or not. That's just my preference.
No, I mean, that's the thing is like, it seems like Disney has really taken the approach of like, I don't know. It feels like Disney is taking the approach of filler material as far as these shows are concerned. Like, yeah, there's something at the beginning and the end that's different that like kind of the series will connect the dots on for the moviegoers. But at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like there's anything essential happening in these shows that like you're going to have to see. And I feel like, I guess more importantly, it feels like Disney is making these for you to watch so that you stay engaged with the brand and the MCU in between movies. But they don't think people are going to go back and watch Hawkeye in like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, Whereas the MCU, like those movies, people are rewatching all the time. And they know that, and they really put the time and effort into the movies to make sure they're rewatchable. But the shows, I really don't see them like putting any kind of rewatchability into them.
Yeah, there's small things like you can say the introduction of Kang, but we didn't get introduced to Kang yet. We got that. Like if you never watched the Loki series, you're still going to get a proper introduction to Kang. The whole thing with Sam getting Cap's shield at the end of Endgame, then the whole Falcon show was about him losing the shield, so that at the end of it, we're right back to where we started with him having the shield.
Yeah.
This show is
a ridiculous costume.
This show, like you got Yelena in there, but you'll get a proper introduction to a character that I know people enjoy her, but in the grand scheme of things, this woman is not going to sell tickets and put butts and seats in theaters. You know, like that's not her purpose in all of this. She's
again, I said it
cast
before, and I'll
characters.
say it again. I think they're building towards a Dark Avengers team, or they're building towards a Young Avengers team. That's why, like, out of WandaVision, we got her 2 kids. Out of this one, we got to see Yelena flex a little muscle. We got to see the introduction of
I
Echo.
think we're going to get a Thunderbolts before.
Yeah, we may get a Thunderbolts because we had the introduction of John Walker. Yes, a lot of the stuff that has been in these series may not be stuff that stands up against the time, but it's the introduction of characters that may come together in a new team, i.e. Monica Rambeau. Those are the small things. And also when we had the introduction of Monica Rambeau, I'm kind of thinking in that part of that tech company that's there. I don't want to say it was S.H.I.E.L.D. because it wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think Reed Richards might be a part of that team that we may get the Fantastic Four eventually out of what that was. These stories, yes, nothing really comes of it other than the fact that we're getting introduction to new characters that will eventually either show up on the big screen or small screen.
So I think that this is actually true and false. What Nick's saying, it boils down to no major movie stars will ever do TV. That's a death knell. These are fill-in stories, and I think that that's been true for our entire life. But we're at the shifting period here, where we're seeing big movie actors do straight to streaming service things. The stuff that comes out on Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, they're not considered TV anymore.
We're not talking like ABC, NBC, CBS. Yeah, you're right. But
you're not going to see them on General
streaming,
Hospital.
it's not TV. It's a mini-series. You know, we have major actors doing miniseries that aired on network TV back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the revitalization of that. So, yeah, I think it would behoove Disney to be like, oh, okay, Hawkeye is about to show up in this movie. Instead of spending time, like, reintroducing this character that we introduced in this show, what we're going to do is just, like, an hour and a half cut of the series that you can go watch as, like, a single movie that gives you all the key moments so that whenever you go watch the movie, it's there.
Yeah.
But I don't
Nick, I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
like
that they're planning for people to go back and watch Hawkeye over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And Jeremy Renner's not a small actor. I don't think he's ever done a TV show before. You know what I mean? Like
he was in a couple of episodes of Louis.
Oh, was he?
Who was it? James
he was a drug dealer.
James Franco
like
went
2 or
and did
3
some General
part
Hospital
little
stuff
story
too
arc.
at the time.
Like Kevin Costner can come back and do a cowboy show nowadays on TV, and it'd be one of the biggest shows on television.
I think
the window is wide open.
I think what
for
this is
that
saying
kind of
is
stuff.
have current Tom Holland, come do one of these, pointing out Sam Jackson. Have Sam Jackson 15 years ago do one of these, not now that he's literally the most appeared actor in the history of actors.
Yeah.
You know, like don't have the people.
It's like Morgan Freeman, you know, like Morgan
interviews.
Freeman openly admits like he just wants money to leave to his family. So he'll do pretty much anything that you bring to him as long as it sounds decent. Samuel Jackson, he'll do just about anything, you know.
Well, also actors like Danny DeVito, I always thought made a good transition because he started in TV, went to movies, and then went back to TV.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then wrote a horrible comic book. So
Oh, that was the recent comic book, right?
yeah, that was
Brad Pitt was on Friends.
Yeah, but again, these are a lot of times just appearances. And
It was a
stuff,
guest spot,
you
so
know.
kind of a terrible comparison. But Brad Pitt was on Friends, so come on now.
Yeah, but have
It
like
was Bruce
somebody
Willis
who's-
and Charlie Sheen.
Where's Robert Downey Jr. in this MCU stuff for flashback? You know, I know his character's dead, so that's a rough example. But like, get the people that are really like bringing in the money and the views, and see if they'll come do some of this stuff.
I would pay Nick Cage not to be in anything ever again.
Oh,
So
don't say that. I love Nick Cage. I love him
hate
because
Nick
how great
Cage.
he gets the perfect roles now. Like, did y'all see The Color Out of Space? Holy crap! Like that was perfect.
I heard it had
me.
Nick Cage, so I was like, definitely not gonna watch that.
Dude, they're
Ever.
it's HP Lovecraft. So like, you know, his quirky antics and the weird screaming and the bug eyes and all that stuff that like people are like, I don't want to see that in my
makes
movie.
sense
Like
in that movie. Yeah.
it's perfect
I
for
don't want to see that in general.
Oh yeah, you do.
If that happened in the real world, I'd be like, get that man an ambulance now.
I just started laughing.
So, Joe, you're a
I've seen
big.
Nicolas Cage's grave. I even stepped on it
Oh, that's horrible.
just for good measure.
That's rough. I like Nicolas Cage, man. I don't think
Apparently,
you can do now. I don't think
Apparently,
you
if
can
you
do now
buy a
what he
grave
used
plot,
to
that's
do.
the only thing they can't repossess in a bankruptcy.
Nick Cage as the Beyonder.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Oh,
Joe,
man.
you're a swordsman fan. That's well known around these parts.
Mhm.
So, were you happy with his very, very small appearance?
Yeah, but you know what they're gonna do, right? We're gonna get the other season, and he's gonna be a LARPer, and that's when we're gonna get him in his traditional outfit. That's already predictable at this point. But yeah, it's like the melting of two worlds. But yeah, I thought they took the campiness just a little too far. But it was kind of cool watching him slash and dice up, Eastern Europeans. Hey, bro.
Get Nick Cage in a Luke Cage show.
Right.
You know
I'm
what would
excited
be
about seeing the
if he met
Netflix
Luke
characters
Cage
come
and
back.
said,
Because
"I like
hopefully
your
this
last
is leading. I'd like seeing like we got the Daredevil appearance, and I unfortunately heard that these people are contractually bound. The Netflix stuff, the way that it ended, they still have to honor these people with money or appearances,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
That's
that's why
why
we
I
got
was
Charlie
thinking.
Cox. That's why, like Taylor kind of pointed out earlier, that he thinks that it might have been an initial idea to have Kingpin in there, but came later after the fact.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily want to give up hope because I would love to see John Bernthal come back as Punisher because that was like my favorite thing that came out of the Netflix stuff. Like that is a phenomenal actor. Like he is so good.
Yeah.
Not just as Punisher. Like he is a good actor.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a good actor.
TV, big screen, both. He's just all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first season where he's in prison and the Kingpin challenges him.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
unchains him and stuff.
yeah,
That was great.
Yeah, that rivals that first. There's those two scenes with Daredevil where Daredevil has to go through the hallway, and the other one where he's coming down the staircase with the bikers. That fight scene was just terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roscoe.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother?
That's the real shame in all the Marvel stuff, losing the Netflix series. Because other than Iron Fist, that stuff was way better than what they're doing on Disney Plus.
You didn't like Iron Fist?
I was like
I was like the only person I know.
because
but-
Iron Fist is something that just carries through time, right? Like the Ghost Rider of the Phoenix Wars. So
Oh, it was
Makes no sense
correctable.
now.
Yeah, they proved that in the second season.
It's just proof there's no editors. I did like it when they all teamed up and did the Defenders thing. That was pretty cool. But
yeah,
for the most
that
part.
was very
Again,
short.
other than Iron Fist, that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
salty tonight, brother. Are you all right?
Every scene that he was in was just like, I am the immortal Iron Fist. Like, okay, we get it. Move on.
Yeah.
You're a rich douchebag with an ego.
What are you looking at, man?
Well, guys, we're about to hit that 11 o'clock mark. It's getting crowded.
Look, this is the only show that brings all the stars together.
Get that dirt off your shoulder.
Oh my God, Purple Man, David Tennant. Oh, I love that performance. Jessica Jones was so much better than Iron Fist. Hate me if you want.
Oh, definitely.
Purple Man. So that was the name of Dennett.
Yeah.
Super green.
Yeah, Kilgrave, the Purple Man.
Yeah. My favorite
he
scene
just
of
got
him.
killed by Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just killed him in Dark Ages.
One of
No,
my favorite scenes from
Dark Reign. Sorry.
one of my favorite scenes is when Kilgrave is just sitting in that restaurant or whatever, and everyone's talking. He just screams out, "Shut up!" And everyone just goes silent. I'm like, that's power. That is the superpower
Right?
I want. Just shut up. And everyone shuts up.
Reminds me of the devil from End of Days.
Yeah.
Just walked into
That
a
was
room
my
and
favorite.
captured everything.
Yeah, I remember, dude, the opening, the first time you see him when he walks through the restaurant, just leans down and kisses that girl, and she's just left like stunned, and he walks out and he just blows the whole place up.
Right?
Yeah, that was a
Man.
great movie.
Yes. I love the end too.
Who played the
I
devil?
love
in that?
Arnold's
Gabriel
introduction.
Byrne?
He just like puts a bunch of pills and a bunch of random food in a blender and drinks it all.
Mm-hmm. Jericho. His name was Jericho in that.
Hmm.
No, I mean, who was the actor that played him? Was it Gabriel Byrne in End of Days?
Oh, you're talking about the devil? Arnold was
Yeah.
Jericho. The devil, God.
I thought it was Gabriel.
I don't know who played
Yeah,
him.
I think
but
it is
know-
Gabriel Byrne. He was in that HBO show back in the day with the therapist or whatever. That sounds right.
Roscoe's on fire. Roscoe is on fire.
There should be a new book with Purple Man taking over, and it would be called Purple Rain. Yeah, he's in Dark Ages.
There might be lawsuits from Minnesota.
Yeah, he's in Dark Ages, and then in Devil's Reign, he just got killed by Kingpin because Kingpin wants his children that were apparently powerful too. So he's getting some love all over.
Gabriel Byrne played the man.
Y'all remember The Devil's Advocate? That was another one I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the one was in that one too.
Yeah, Keanu.
Good Canadian boy.
Good Canadian boy. All right, guys, 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm about to wrap it up because I do have to unfortunately work tomorrow. Got a lot of hair cutting to do, and you never know how that's going to start. Unless you're a channel member, then you see in the chats. I do share a lot of stuff from the personal life in there, and when we hit these when I have these people coming with these projects, my God.
That dog.
solid knot on a dog. It was like an 80-pound dog, and then when I was done with it, legit, I probably got about 15 pounds of coat off of it.
It's like shedding his skin like a snake.
Yeah. It was all coming off in one piece.
Traumatic just looking at it happening.
When I got down to his legs, I was able to drape it back over him where it looked like he wasn't cut at all. And then I recorded it, and I just slid it off to show how it was coming off and everything.
Real life time lapse.
Yeah. So I appreciate it, everybody. Tomorrow, I did go to a Jason David Frank signing event here locally, and I got some cool stuff signed. I have a video up of going to that event and everything and meeting him and all that already on the channel. Go back and check it out because tomorrow I got my books back from grading and show those off. And yeah, good stuff. And then, I'm going to attempt to have a comic close-up of Darkseid ready for Wednesday. I'm excited about that. And I got to kind of get it done quick because I'm giving away the first appearance of Darkseid for the 1K giveaway that'll get set up. Promise, Scouts Honor. I'll have it ready in January.
Next year. You'll have it ready next year.
Yeah, at this point, it's just too busy to try to pull it off, you know. And tomorrow night, everybody, Comic Vets channel, 6 p.m. right now, 7 p.m. Eastern time, real time. He'll be going live for his 500 subscriber giveaway extravaganza. So you better go enter tonight. Go over to his channel, watch that 500 subscriber giveaway video. It's short, simple, to the point. He just sits there and shows you all the stuff you can win, and you can check it out while you're entering. Nothing complicated to it. And Joe's probably blowing some shit up, so check his channel out.
We're making web shooters this month. Hopefully they're almost done. I'm really behind on this
Are
one.
you gonna put plastic DNA in it?
No.
And Ryan is working these days a lot.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep up with Ryan, be here Sunday nights at 9 p.m. for now. And if you're lucky, he will be too. But hopefully we start getting
Trying to be.
some more cool stuff from you out here after the first of the year, hopefully, man. Those short stories were cool. Those were going for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is this the last one of the year?
Yes.
Last at week's end of the year? Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Saturday's the first, right? So
That means next Sunday I got to give a lot of stuff away for the members. Real quick, I want to show off like the channel member stuff. So if you're a channel member in the $5.99 tier, you're entered into the monthly Legion Loot giveaway. And for that, I try to put together a nice stack of books. Big Time Collectibles is a channel sponsor, and they supply me with books to put in there. So I always get at least a handful of exclusives from them. This is the United States of Captain America #4, the Mercado variant. It's the first appearance of the Filipino Captain America there. Ice Cream Man #25, the John Jang exclusive. We've got Inferno #1, the variant by Miko Suyon, and then Department of Truth #13, Purple Rain homage. This
awesome.
This would be considered the Virgin one. The trade dress has a Department of Truth trade dress, where this one, it's written on there like the album cover. And then the convention exclusive for Batman 89 #1 from Miko Suyon. And then I've got that Detective Comics 1045 foil from local comic shop day I'm throwing in there.
That's a cool cover too.
Nice.
Task Force C #2 from local comic shop day, the foil. DC versus Vampires #2
Love
foil
it.
from local comic shop day. Just for Fresh News 24/7, I got Hulk #1 from Donny Cates.
Look at you.
I still have my copy. Swamp Thing #10, which was the final issue to this story arc, and that's that Brian Bolland cover. It's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is insane. And then finally, the Blasting and Stashing Pocan Joe Delta Dog variant by Austin LeMay, his first official cover, signed by Austin LeMay himself. So this is a big little stack of books there. So thank you to all the channel members. I appreciate you guys a lot. And yeah. And that's it. So until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.